roadmap for the products. So those of you who've been to the meetings before will recognize the format. So in terms of Business Central, they do large releases every 6 months. There's a release currently at the moment, so we're waiting this week for them to release what's called Wave 2 or version 19. It's out this week, and then what we will be doing is we'll be uploading that to all our SaaS customers, where they can have a look, have a check to see that everything works as expected, and then we can schedule that to go live in the next 3 or 4 weeks. In terms of what's new in Wave 2, Nicola, our support manager, did a presentation internally earlier this week, and it went on to about 90 slides. So there's lots and lots of things, lots of little things. I've pulled out here kind of the primary ones that people might be interested in. So from an admin point of view, technically it's easier now to manage SaaS databases, and finding what went wrong is easier from a technical point of view, and also easier for us from a support point of view. We can delve into things much more easily. From a functionality point of view, as ever, performance has been increased. That's a regular one. There's a new desktop Windows app, so you can download it, and that complements the mobile and the tablet apps. So you don't have to use the browser anymore. You can use the downloaded app on Windows. And then the other highlights there, I suppose, bank reconciliation is always a good one. That's being improved. That's easier to use. Adjust exchange rates, a few more options when running those processes. And then something that is kind of key to all of what Microsoft are doing is the share to teams. So you'll see on the next one with the Power Automate that Microsoft really want to use Teams as a way of communicating between all the people on Office 365. There's a button on every page in the SaaS product now that when you click it, it'll send that record to whoever you want to, and you can write it or comment. So it's another way of sending quick messages and communicating with people inside the business. If you want to know more, then the Microsoft page is the one on the left. When you will be sending out a copy of this as a PDF, and the link is actually by clicking the image, that will go into all the details of everything that's new. The one on the right-hand side is our webinar that we're hosting next week on Wednesday. If you want to attend that or are interested, let me know or let someone at T-Vision know, and we'll add you to that list. So Power Platform is the Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power BI. What I've noticed over the last months is that although Microsoft talk about wave updates for everything, as far as Power Apps are concerned, they're really just releasing things as and when they've got them, rather than holding things back and releasing them in chunks. And the changes or the new things that are appearing for Power Apps tend to be a bit more on the technical side, but there are themes. So Teams comes out a lot. They're making lots of changes to Teams, and the common data model, which is now called Microsoft Dataverse, is more and more about you being able to hold data in one place and access it from Teams, from Power BI, from all the different parts of the stack that Microsoft have. In terms of Bevica then, so we try to match the Microsoft releases. So what we're planning at the moment with the Wave 2 is as soon as Microsoft have updated us with the Wave 2 and it's live with our customers, we've already got ready some releases for Bevica. So looking at what we've been doing this year with Bevica, so the big ones that we've been working on that were released earlier this year is broking and cellarage. So for the fine wine side of things, we can now do broking and cellarage. We've increased the communication with warehousing, so integration. And then the last one on the right there, inventory price list. That's an interesting new feature that we've never done before, where you can create an item list with all the item attributes, so region, sub-region, etc., all those types of fields. And then there's a number of fields where the user can decide what appears in them in terms of pricing and inventory. So you could add a filter to say, show me inventory, duty paid for this location. And then equally, there's some columns where you can decide to show a particular price group, duty paid or duty free. So it's kind of calculates things on the fly. And we found that a couple of customers are using it for salespeople, for example, to find out where's my stock and how much does it cost when they're talking to customers. So that's kind of something new that we've been able to do in SaaS that we've never done before. In terms of the planned releases for the Wave update, additional charges. So we've added the ability to automatically add additional charges to purchase orders, sales orders, return orders. And you can attribute those to things like countries of origin, items, suppliers, customers. And then when you create the transaction, it'll automatically calculate the additional charge you want to put onto those transactions. And then the contra journal, so where you've linked say customers and vendors, you can move balances between them automatically on a journal. So those two are going to be released in the next 3 or 4 weeks, immediately after Microsoft have done their go lives. In terms of new stuff, we are on the fine wine side, so we're doing more integration with LiveX and Wine Searcher and allocations and options. And then on the distribution side, we're making Excel and commission orders easier to process. Reconciliation on additional charges, which is something that most of you have already. We're putting that into SaaS. And then the cost modeler. So you'll be able to grab a product and model how costs impact your buying price, your landed cost, and then to work out a sensible selling price. So that's the update for TVision and Bevica. Before I hand over to Ben, are there any questions? Anything anyone that I've missed or would like to know?
Yeah. Hi, Claudio. On the what you mentioned there, Wine Searcher. What is that exactly?
That's the ability to, from the product, go to Wine Searcher, filter on a product, and bring back the prices that are on their website for that particular product.
So it's not a sort of full import of all Wine Searcher prices to match up against your stock, for example.
Not initially, no. Initially, it's about the prices. So being able to see prices for
an individual product.
For an individual product. Yeah.
Okay.
The idea is that if we do that with Wine Searcher and we do that with LiveX, you'll be able to see a kind of a general view of what the market price is for a particular product. And
so on the LiveX side, is that individual products again, or was that
Yes, so on LiveX, it's the ability to attach L-wins to your products. And then with the L-win, we query LiveX and bring back any one of their different prices. So for a particular L-win 18, they will have at least, I think, 7 or 8 different price types, and you can bring back one or more of them into the product and then use it there for analysis or reporting or comparing against your prices.
And is that a sort of data for all products? So, for example, if we wanted to have all of our products with all of the LiveX prices, is that what you're talking about, or do you have to go and look up an individual price for one at a time? If you see what I mean?
No, you can do one at a time. So there'll be a button on the item card, for example, but you can do it in bulk as long as your item, excuse me, as long as the item has the L-win, so we can communicate.
Yeah.
And bring back prices in bulk.
And is the L-win, do you have all the L-wins? Is that automated as part of the SaaS product, matching your wines to L-wins?
Matching the wines to L-wins is a little bit tricky. You can do it on a one-to-one basis. So you can click a button on the item card and using the description, it'll return a list of possible items. We're still investigating how easy it is to send, for example, a batch of items and have them automatically L-winned, if you like, to bring that back in.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Cheers.
Any other questions?